An accident involving hazardous materials. So many dangers, so many unknown factors. An accident involving hazardous materials. It can be a time bomb waiting to go off, but there is one thing that may help you defuse the bomb. Knowledge. The knowledge you'll find in the Emergency Response Guidebook. A growing number of industries are now using products and materials that may be dangerous if involved in an accident or spill. Because of the increasing dependence on these materials, many people in a wide variety of vocations need access to information that can assist them during an emergency. The Emergency Response Guidebook is primarily a guide to aid those that may be first on the scene of a hazardous materials incident. The guidebook will help quickly identify the materials and hazards that are involved in the incident. It will also provide general information that will help protect responders and the public during the initial phases of an accident involving hazardous materials. One word of caution. The Emergency Response Guidebook does not make its user an expert on safely responding to hazardous materials incidents. The information in the guidebook is very general. It should not be considered a substitute for proper emergency response training, knowledge, or sound judgment. Never do anything that is beyond your level of training. The Emergency Response Guidebook has colored sections to help you easily access the critical information you may need. The white section contains instructions and definitions for use of the guidebook. It also has basic information on hazardous materials, a guide to placards and labels, and emergency phone numbers. There is also a rail car and road trailer ID chart that may be useful. The yellow section lists materials by their UN numbers. The blue section lists them by their proper shipping names. The orange section is response and safety information listed by 3-digit guide numbers. And the green section of the book is the table of initial isolation and protected distances. Here's a quick look at the steps you should follow to effectively use the Emergency Response Guidebook. First, identify the materials that are involved in the incident. Second, find the material's 3-digit guide number in the yellow or blue sections. Third, look up the 3-digit number in the orange section of the guidebook. Fourth, if there are only placards available on the involved material, use the table of placards on pages 16 and 17 to get a 3-digit number from a sample placard. In the absence of placards or a shipping name, there is a rail car and road trailer ID chart on pages 18 and 19. If you can't identify the material or the vehicle, use Guide 111 in the orange section. It is for mixed or unidentifiable loads. Finally, if a material's name is highlighted in blue or yellow, you should check the table in the green section for information on initial isolation and protective distances. To get the most out of the Emergency Response Guidebook, your first step is to identify the material involved in the incident. Always approach a hazardous materials incident with caution. From a distance, preferably upwind, you may be able to locate a 4-digit UN number on a placard or orange panel. You might also get the 4-digit number or the proper shipping name from a visible package or shipping papers if they're available. Once you have the material's 4-digit number or shipping name, you can go to the guidebook for initial response information. Using the yellow section of the guidebook, look up the hazardous materials 4-digit UN number. Next to the 4-digit UN number, you'll see the 3-digit guide number and the proper shipping name of the hazardous material. If you have the proper shipping name of the material, rather than the UN number, you can look up the name in the blue section of the guidebook. Next to the proper shipping name, you'll see the 3-digit guide number to use in the orange section. You'll also see the 4-digit UN number. Some of the shipping names you see in the yellow and blue sections may be highlighted. The highlighted materials should be looked up in the green section of the guidebook. When you have the 4-digit UN number or the shipping name of a particular material, you use the yellow or blue sections of the Emergency Response Guidebook to look up the 3-digit guide number. But what if the UN number or shipping name isn't available? If you see a placard or part of a label on a package, You can use the table of placards to find the 3-digit guide number. Simply match the color and the picture of the placard or label at the incident scene to the guide on pages 16 and 17 of the white pages. Be sure that the placard or label matches the material you're dealing with. Some classes of materials may have similar placards, but must be dealt with differently. The 3-digit guide number is listed next to the matching placards. When you have the right one, you can look up the 3-digit guide number in the orange section to get the emergency response information you need in this critical decision-making process. Again, in the absence of placards or shipping name, try to ID the vehicle with the chart on pages 18 and 19. If that doesn't help, go to Guide 111 in the orange section. The orange section is organized by 3-digit guide numbers you found when you identified the material or vehicle. When you locate the 3-digit guide number in the orange section, you'll notice 3 main sections. The first section describes potential hazards that a material may display in terms of fire, explosion, and health effects when someone is exposed to that material. The primary hazard is listed first. Consulting this section gives responders, in very brief form, the dangers a material may present. The second section suggests public safety measures based on the situation at hand. It provides general information regarding immediate isolation of the incident site, as well as the recommended type of protective clothing and respiratory protection. Also, suggested evacuation distances are listed for large and small spills and for fire situations. The third section covers emergency response actions and general first aid guidance prior to seeking medical care. It outlines special precautions for incidents that involve fire, spill, or chemical exposure. Please note that if the material's name was highlighted in the yellow or blue sections and there is no fire, you should look up that material in the green section of the guidebook. The green section contains the table of initial isolation and protective distances for the most dangerous or lethal materials. When you locate the material in the table, you will see the isolation and protective action zone distances for that material based on the time of day and the size of the spill or emission. The back of the green section also contains a list of water-reactive materials. This could be very important in a fire situation or a water accident. If fire is involved, go directly to the orange pages and use the evacuation information shown under the Public Safety section. Now let's quickly review the basic steps in using the Emergency Response Guidebook. First, locate the 4-digit UN number or shipping name of the material involved in the incident. Next, look up the materials in the guidebook. Use the yellow section if you have the 4-digit UN number. Use the blue section if you have the shipping name. You'll find the 3-digit guide number next to the material. Look up the 3-digit guide number in the orange section of the guidebook. Here you will find important information on the material's hazards, public safety, and emergency response. If a material's name is highlighted in the yellow or blue sections, look up the material in the green section for initial isolation and protective action distances. If the only information on the material you have is a placard color, match the color to the placard. Next to the matching placard, you'll find the 3-digit guide number to use in the orange section of the guidebook. You can also use the rail car and road trailer ID chart to help you find the 3-digit guide number. When all else fails, use Guide 111 in the orange section. When the adrenaline is flowing and you forget these steps, remember that page 1 of the guidebook has instructions to get you through. The Emergency Response Guidebook is a very effective tool when you are first on the scene of an incident involving hazardous materials. It can provide vital and potentially life-saving information that can protect you and the public. Read and understand the white pages of the guidebook before you're staring at an actual incident. The guidebook contains very valuable information on all facets of hazardous materials response. Remember that the information contained in the guidebook is for initial use and is very general. It does not make you a hazmat specialist. Never do things that are beyond your level of training. When in doubt, call for the help of a certified hazmat specialist. The first few minutes of a hazardous materials response are critical. Having current information on the materials involved is vital. Use common sense. Avoid the tendency to rush in and be a hero. Trust the materials in the Emergency Response Guidebook to help defuse the ticking time bomb at a hazardous materials incident.